"Let's not delude ourselves, Maya," Victor said, his voice dripping with a patronizing certainty that cut deeper than any turbulence I'd ever navigated. He reclined in his chair, arms folded, as if he'd just dispensed an unassailable truth. "Passengers want to feel secure when they see who's flying the plane, and a woman in that role. It's not exactly reassuring, is it?" His words struck like a thunderbolt, raw and deliberate. Around the polished boardroom table, few of the men exchanged glances, some with smirks, others with cold indifference. My chest burned with a mix of anger and betrayal, but I forced my hands to remain still, resting calmly in my lap. I refused to let Victor see me waver. "My name is Maya Caldwell. I'm 43, and I've been a pilot for 25 years. Divorced, with no children, my life has been tethered to the boundless freedom of the sky since I was a teenager. Flying was my refuge, my defiance against a world that tried to clip my wings. But in aviation, talent and tenacity only get you so far. No matter how flawless your record or how many hours you've logged, men like Victor still see you as an anomaly, a risk to their outdated ideals." That day, when the chief pilot promotion I dedicated my career to was awarded to a novice with a fraction of my experience, something inside me shattered. I'd spent decades proving my worth, navigating storms both literal and figurative, only to be dismissed by a smug remark. I knew then that I had to carve out a new path, one that didn't rely on their validation. My passion for flying ignited. When I was 9, at a weathered airstrip on the outskirts of Boise, Idaho, where my father, a former Air Force mechanic, tinkered with small planes. "Maya, you've got to see this," he said, his voice brimming with enthusiasm as he opened the door to a battered Cessna 172. I scrambled into the pilot's seat, my small hands grazing the yoke, my heart pounding with wonder. "Think you could fly one of these someday?" he asked, leaning against the cockpit, his weathered face lit with a grin. "I could fly it now," I shot back, my bravado masking the awe that gripped me. He laughed, ruffling my hair. "Big dreams, Maya. Don't let anyone tell you they're too big." Those words became my North Star, especially when my mother, ever cautious, urged me toward practical careers like nursing or bookkeeping. By 16, I was bussing tables and cleaning houses to save for flying lessons. When I told my father I'd booked my first session, he set down his coffee mug and fixed me with a serious look. "You're really going for it, aren't you?" "Absolutely," I said, my voice steady despite the butterflies in my stomach. "It won't be easy," he warned, leaning back. "They'll make you work twice as hard because you're a woman. You ready for that?" "I'm ready," I replied, and his nod, paired with a proud smile, fueled my resolve. My mother was less enthusiastic. "Flying's not a life, Maya," she'd say, her voice heavy with concern. "Don't build your whole world on it." But the sky had already claimed me, its vastness a promise of freedom I couldn't resist. Years later, after serving in the Air Force and logging thousands of hours with Horizon Skies Airlines, I thought I'd finally earned my place. My record was impeccable. Emergency landings in blinding snowstorms, transcontinental flights through severe turbulence, even de-escalating a passenger's mid-flight medical crisis. When the chief pilot position opened, I was certain it was mine. My experience was unrivaled, my leadership proven. But Victor's words in that boardroom, "A woman in charge is a hard sell," crushed that hope. My father's warning echoed, "They'll make you work twice as hard." I'd worked 10 times harder, and it still wasn't enough. This wasn't the first time I'd been overlooked. In the Air Force, my commanding officer assigned me the most punishing missions, claiming it was to prove my worth. I executed them flawlessly, but promotions went to less qualified men. In commercial, aviation, the slights were subtler but no less painful. Passengers questioning my credentials, colleagues mistaking me for a flight attendant. I'd told myself each flight was a chance to silence the doubters, and my father's pride sustained me. "Another ceiling shattered, Maya," he'd say after every milestone, his voice warm through the phone. But when I called him about the chief pilot rejection, his tone grew heavy. "That's not right," he said, his voice low. "You've given them everything, Maya. What are they giving you?" "Nothing," I admitted, my voice barely audible. "They're giving me nothing." "Then maybe it's time to stop playing by their rules," he said. "Make your own." That night, I sat at my kitchen table, my flight logbook open before me. 23,000 hours, countless lives safely delivered, crises averted. And for what? A glass ceiling fortified by men like Victor. I called my father again, my resolve hardening. "I'm done, Dad. I'm quitting." He paused, then said, "You've been fighting their battles too long, Maya. It's time to fight your own." His words ignited a spark. By the end of the week, I'd made my decision. If the industry wouldn't elevate women to leadership, I'd build a space where they could rise. The idea for a women-only flight academy took shape, a daring, almost audacious vision to train not just pilots, but pioneers who'd redefine aviation. Launching a flight academy was a monumental challenge. I had savings, but planes, hangars, and instructors demanded far more than I could cover. My mother, ever the pragmatist, called the day I shared my plan. "Starting a business isn't like flying a plane, Maya," she said, her tone laced with worry. "You can't just trust your instincts." "I know, Mom," I said, pacing my modest apartment, "but I can't keep slamming into barriers that won't move. If I don't do this, who will?" she sighed. "You're as stubborn as your father. Just promise you've got a plan B." "I promise," I said, though I knew there was no plan B. This was it. My next call was to Sofia Alvarez, my former flight instructor and one of the few women in aviation who'd always had my back. When I pitched the academy, her response was immediate. "Maya, this is groundbreaking. I'm in, with this deed." Sofia's support, the dream felt within reach. We spent countless nights strategizing, scouting locations, designing curricula, brainstorming ways to attract students. It was exhausting but exhilarating. This wasn't just about teaching women to fly. It was about dismantling systemic barriers. I wanted a school that didn't just teach technical skills, but fostered the resilience to confront an industry that would challenge their every move. My goal was to train leaders, not just pilots. Over coffee one morning, Sofia and I refined our mission. "This has to be more than aviation," I said, jotting notes on a napkin. "We need to teach them how to navigate the politics, to push, back when they're told they're not enough." Sofia nodded, her eyes bright. "We bring in role models, women who've broken barriers in aviation, maintenance, air traffic control. Show them it's possible. And scholarships. Make it accessible to women who can't afford traditional programs." "Exactly," I said, my excitement surging. "We're not just building a school. We're building a revolution." Her words fueled my determination. This was my chance to rewrite the narrative for every woman told she didn't belong in the cockpit. The next 8 months were a grueling mix of planning and rejection. Investors and banks dismissed my pitch with skepticism. "A women-only flight academy?" One financier scoffed, adjusting his tie. "That's a niche market with no real demand." Doubt gnawed at me. Maybe this was too bold. But Sofia kept me focused, and then she delivered a lifeline. "Maya, have you heard of Ascent? Horizons?" she asked one evening, surrounded by paperwork in my living room. "They're a non-profit funding diversity in aviation." I shook my head, but hope flickered. We crafted a meticulous proposal, outlining our mission, budget, and potential impact. 10 days after submitting it, I got a call from Ascent's director, Dr. Naomi Kessler. "Maya, your proposal is inspiring," she said, her voice warm but professional. "This is exactly what we support. We're offering a grant to cover your first 2 years." I nearly dropped the phone. "You're serious?" "Absolutely," she replied. "Your vision is what aviation needs." With Ascent's funding, we leased a hangar at a faded airfield near Flagstaff, Arizona, secured 4 training planes, and launched the Horizon Wings Flight Academy. On opening day, I stood in the hangar, nervously arranging chairs for orientation, terrified no one would come. Then a dusty Jeep pulled up, and out stepped Lena, a 24-year-old aircraft technician with oil-stained hands and a determined glint in her eyes. "I've always wanted to fly," she said, gripping my hand. "But everyone told me to stick to fixing planes, not piloting them." Next came Evelyn, a 60-year-old retired teacher, her expression a mix of nerves and resolve. "Flying's been my dream since I was a girl," she said quietly. "Life got in the way. Marriage, kids, career. Your program made me think it's not too late." By midday, 9 women filled the hangar, each with a story of dreams deferred, but not extinguished. I stood before them, my voice thick with emotion. "You're not just here to learn," I said. "You're the heart of this academy." For the first time in years, I felt I was exactly where I was meant to be. The early months were a whirlwind of triumphs and challenges. Word of Horizon Wings spread slowly through aviation blogs and local flyers. Then Lena posted a video of her first solo flight online, and applications surged. Our initial class of 9 grew to 30, women from diverse backgrounds, recent graduates, single mothers, career changers. The hangar buzzed with life, the roar of engines blending with laughter and determination. Sophia and I were stretched to our limits, balancing teaching, maintenance, and administration. "We can't keep this up," Sophia said one night, exhaustion lining her face as we reviewed schedules. "We need more instructors." She was right. We posted openings, emphasizing our mission. The response was overwhelming. Among the hires were Zara, a former Marine pilot who'd left to raise her daughter, and Priya, a commercial pilot disillusioned with corporate aviation. Their passion strengthened our team, allowing us to grow while staying true to our vision. A year in, the academy was flourishing. The airfield, once a relic, was vibrant with activity. Then came a transformative email from Southwest Star Airlines. "We've heard about Horizon Wings and are impressed. Do you have graduates ready for first officer roles?" I called Sophia, my voice trembling with excitement. "Southwest Star wants our students," she laughed, jubilant. "Maya, this is it. The industry's waking up. Soon other airlines, regionals, cargo carriers, even a major international line, reached out. Our graduates were in demand. Each job offered a victory for our mission. But the moment that truly defined our impact came unexpectedly, a call from a local high school. "Miss Caldwell, I'm Principal Rosa Martinez," the caller said. "Your academy's inspiring our community. We're hosting a career day, and I'd love for you to speak to our students, especially our girls. They need to see aviation as a possibility." Public speaking wasn't my strength, but I couldn't refuse. "I'd be honored," I said, my stomach knotting. The career day was held in the school's gymnasium, packed with restless teenagers. Principal Martinez introduced me as a visionary in aviation, and I took the podium, nerves jangling. "When I was your age," I began, "I sat in a cockpit and knew I wanted to fly. But the world didn't make it easy for girls to dream. Big. I'm here to tell you, no dream is too big, no goal too far." The room grew quiet as I shared my journey. First flights, Air Force struggles, the Academy's birth. When I opened for questions, A girl in the back raised her hand, her voice hesitant. "Do you think someone like me could be a pilot?" Smiled. "I don't just think you can, I know you can. And when you're ready, come to Horizon Wings. We'll get you in the air." Her face lit up, and I knew why I'd started this fight. Weeks later, I watched Amara, a student and single mother, prepare for her first solo flight. She'd joined the academy doubtful, her dream of flying buried under years of sacrifice. "I never thought I could do this," she'd confided once. "Life always came first." Now she strapped into the cockpit, her expression fierce with determination. As she taxied, I held my breath. Her daughter, Sophia, stood beside me, clutching my hand. When the plane lifted off, cheers erupted from the students watching. Sophia's eyes shone. "That's my mom," she whispered, her voice thick with pride. Amara landed smoothly, stepping out radiant. Sophia ran to her, hugging her tightly. Amara looked at me, tears brimming. "Thank you, Maya. This changed everything." Driving home, her words lingered. I'd spent years chasing titles, believing they defined success. But Amara's flight, Sophia's joy, that was success. This wasn't a career, it was a calling. 2 years later, Horizon Wings was unrecognizable. The airfield boasted 5 hangars, 10 planes, and 80 students. We'd added scholarships, partnerships with community colleges, and a mentorship program connecting students with female aviation leaders. Airlines recruited our graduates regularly, our placement rate soaring. One morning, an envelope arrived from the International Aviation Federation, inviting me to keynote their annual conference. "They want you to showcase how you're reshaping aviation," Sophia said, grinning. "This is huge." The conference was held in a sleek Denver Convention Center, its ballroom aglow with crystal chandeliers. Industry leaders filled the room, their polished demeanor a far cry from the dusty airfield where I'd begun. Sophia sat beside me, radiating pride. "Ready?" she asked. "As ready as I'll ever be," I said, my heart racing. I spotted familiar faces from Horizon skies: Victor, arms crossed near the back, and Ellen Harper, a former colleague who'd always towed the company line. The evening progressed, with awards for innovation and leadership. Then the host announced a special honor. "This award recognizes someone who's not only excelled in aviation, but transformed its future," she said. "For creating a path for women to soar, we honor Maya Caldwell, founder of Horizon Wings Flight Academy, with the International Aviation Vanguard Award." I froze, Sophia's nudge snapping me back. "That's you, Maya. Go!" As I walked to the stage, applause thundering, I caught Victor's discomfort, his smirk replaced by a tight grimace. I accepted the award, hands trembling, and stepped to the microphone. "Thank you," I said, my voice steadying. "I started Horizon Wings because I was tired of hearing no. No, you don't belong. No, you're not what we want. This award isn't just for me, it's for every woman who's heard no and kept climbing." The applause was deafening, but Victor's expression held my focus. The scales had tipped. This wasn't just my triumph. It was vindication for every dismissal I'd endured. As the conference wound down, I clutched the award, navigating the dispersing crowd. Sophia had gone to get the car, leaving me alone when I saw Victor by the exit, a drink in hand. Our eyes met, and I considered slipping past. But something stopped me. "Maya," he said, his smile strained. "Powerful speech. Congratulations." "Thanks, Victor," I said, my tone even. "Funny, isn't it? You once said passengers wouldn't trust a woman pilot, yet here I am." His smile faltered and he looked away. "It wasn't personal. That's just how things were. How you made them," I corrected. "But aviation's evolving, Victor. You can fight it or join it. I've chosen my side. What's yours?" He had no answer. I walked past, the night air cool and liberating. The fight wasn't over, but tonight proved progress was real, and I was driving it the years that followed were a testament to Horizon Wing's impact. The Academy grew into a beacon for women in aviation, with satellite programs in 3 states and a fleet of 15 planes. Our graduates filled cockpits across the globe, from regional carriers to major airlines. We launched an outreach program for underserved communities, offering free introductory flights to girls as young as 12. Each time I saw a girl's eyes light up in the cockpit, I saw myself at 9, dreaming of the sky. One spring afternoon, I received a letter from Lena, now a first officer with a major airline. "Maya, I flew my first international route last week, Boeing 787, full passenger load. Every takeoff, I think of you and Horizon Wings. You didn't just teach me to fly, you taught me to believe I could. Thank you." I framed the letter, hanging it in my office beside photos of our first graduates. My father, who'd passed a year earlier, would have been proud. His words still guided me. "Don't let anyone tell you your dreams are too big." I spent years seeking approval from those who'd never give it. Now, I was leading, not chasing. One evening, as I sat with my partner Daniel and his teenage daughter Ellie, I reflected on the journey. Daniel sensed my quiet mood, taking my hand. "You okay?" I smiled, watching Ellie sketch at the table. "More than okay. I used to think success was about proving myself to men like Victor. But it's this, the Academy, you, Ellie, that's what matters." "You've always been enough," Daniel said. "They just couldn't see it." A year later, at the next International Aviation Federation conference, Horizon Wings won 2 awards, one for innovation, another for social impact. I took the stage alone, Sophia insisting I claim the moment. "This is for those who dare to dream beyond the horizon," I said, my voice ringing clear. "For those who see the sky not as a limit, but as a beginning." The applause was thunderous. But the true victory was mine, forged through resilience, vision, and an unyielding belief in what we'd built. I was Maya Caldwell, and the sky was ours.